Hello beautiful people, my name is Kev and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to do another book tag. And it's a long time that I did not do any book tag, but this was a very new one and every single person was doing that on the YouTube. So I thought, why not me? I can also try this. So this book tag is known as end of the year book tag, as this is the last month of this year. You can find the original video in my description. I will link that below, and let's just get started. So the first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Well, I have more than one, because there is a lot of books that I started this year but I could not finish. I don't know what was the problem, but I have so many. So let's just start it. And the first book that I just recently DNF'd is Faith 40 Insights into Hinduism by Devdutt Patnaik. And I just really like to read about the mythology, the Indian mythology especially. But this book I could not just connect with it. This book just gives you a brief descriptions of all the parts of Hinduism, that the faith, belief, customs, that everything is here, but I could not just find it very interesting. So I thought maybe another time, so I DNF'd it. Next book is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and this is a classic, and I just started reading it and I was in middle of it. Then I realized that I'm not getting what the story is all about, and I just tried to finish it but I could not. So I just thought, just let it try sometime else, or maybe next year I will definitely read this, but this year I could not read it. The next book is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, and this is another classical, and I just think that I have difficulty reading classics because I'm not that classic person. I just don't like fictions, non-fictions. These are my types. That's why I find difficulty reading these books. So I just started reading it in October, November, but I could not finish it. I don't know why, but I just did not like it that much, so I just DNF'd it. And the next book that I started very early in this year, I read it in March or April maybe, and this book is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, and this is the book that I started in March, but I have very difficult time reading this. I just could not read at least 50 pages, and because I just find this main character Humbert, a middle-aged man, a very freak and psycho who is lurking for a 15-year-old girl, and this thought was really very disturbing for me, and I just could not read it, and I just completely hated it. I forced myself so many times to read this book, at least try it sometime, but I could not, because the thoughts of this man were so freaking bad that I could not read it. So I just DNF'd it, and I'm not planning to read it. So basically these are the books that I DNF'd this year. I have more, I think, but I could not find it because I always put my books on stacks and they go very down in the stacks. Next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I think I don't have any autumnal book, so no, I don't have any autumnal books that I will transition to the end of the year. Next question, is there a new release you are still waiting for? Heck yeah, I have a lot of new releases that I want to read, and I want to have my hands on them, and some of them are Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, The Starry Sea by Erin Morgenstern. And these two books, Lock Every Door and The Turn of the Key, were thriller slash horror, and they were just kind of similar, but they were just really good, because I saw a lot of people were giving it very good ratings on Goodreads and on YouTube channels, and I just really want to read this book. And the next book, that is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, is also a very anticipated read for me, because this book has a very interesting blurb, and this is about this boy who just like to read books, and one day he find a very different kind of books, and he just find out different stories about them, but then he find out one of his childhood memory in that book as a story, and then he just kind of want to know why this is there and how anyone have known that story. So this is a very kind of interesting story for me. That's why I really want to read this. Next question is, what are the 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? And for this I have The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Imogen Hums Gore, and I have always difficulty pronouncing the name because it's kind of tongue twister for me, but you can see the name here. And this is the book that I wanted to read from very long time. I just kind of bought it a year ago, and from that time it's just waiting on myself, and just crying that please pick me up, and I just want to read this before this year end because it has waited so long, and this cover is so beautiful that I really want to read this. And the next book is Final Girls by Riley Sager, and this is a thriller about these 3 girls that go missing one by one. And this is the book that I was anticipating to read this year, and this is thriller, and I love thrillers, so that's why I just want to read this year before this year ends. And the third book that I want to read is Bridge of Clay by Marcus Jusek, and this is the book that I don't know anything about this book, and I don't want to know because I want to find it myself. And the prime reason for reading this book is the writer, because I have read The Book Thief by him and I just really loved it, and I want to know that what this book got. And this is not kind of comparison, I'm not comparing this book with The Book Thief because I know every book is different from others. I'm not comparing, but yeah, I really want to know and want to find out that is this book really good, just like that one. And the next question is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Well, I have read my favorite book of the year, and that is The Nightingale by Christine Hanna. But if I have a little bit of hope to be the favorite, then I have with this book The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock, and I just want to be it good, but I'm not so much confident about that it can replace The Nightingale because that book was really amazing. But I just hope that it could become one of my favorite book. And the last question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2020? Kind of yes, because I have some plans that I want to execute in 2020. Like I want to read classics, and I'm just going to have a TBR jar in which I will put all my unread books that I would just like to read in 2020, because I have a lot of books that are just on myself. I never get time to read them, so I'm just going to pick up that jar and point out any books that will just skip the names, and then I will just try to read that book. That's it for today, guys. Hope you have liked my video and enjoyed it the way I did, and I will link all the tags in the description below so you can find, and if you want to do it because no one gonna stop you. And you can find other links to my social media that you can also follow. And thanks for watching, guys, and I just wish that you keep supporting and loving me. So thank you again. See you. Bye.